Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning down here. I'm actually at the future home of cabin number 2 right now. And it's Saturday morning. It's a beautiful day. You can see behind me, there's not a cloud in the sky. We had some weather come through last couple days, 40, 50 mile an hour winds, things like that. So a lot of rain and things are just, right now, things are just soaking wet. And I'm walking around picking up a lot of branches and things like that. So now that that's all kind of done, time to get to work here on cabin 2. So let me show you where we're at, just as a little reminder. Okay, this is the current state of cabin number 2. I've started to set up some of the form boards that were down here that I need to set up with the tubes and everything like that. So, and I brought down the stakes, the concrete stakes, as kind of the final bit of this little puzzle. So you can see the rebar. I just got down here, so I'm actually just looking in these holes for the first time. So you see, I have a lot of debris down in there. I've got leaves, and there's actually standing water in these holes right now. So let's take a look at maybe one of these now. Yeah, this is all full of debris as well. So I've got to go around. I've got to clean these holes up. I'll pull out the rebar, get down in there, flatten them back out. The bottom, get the bottom nice and level, and then I will put the rebar in, and then we're going to start putting the tubes up today because, strangely enough, I've got 4 or 5 days worth of sunny weather coming, and I'm excited. So, which is funny because this nice weather, it's going to be in the 50s and 60s with nothing but sun, and after that, we're actually going to get some snow. It looks like next weekend is kind of a washout. So I'd like to get this done and inspected and potentially poured this week, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've got some running around to do tomorrow. I'll tell you guys about that later, but this is where we're at right now. So I'm going to start cleaning these holes up, and then we're going to start getting the tubes into place. Hopefully most of this will be done before lunch. Rebecca's out doing the food shopping and stuff right now. She may be down. In fact, she'll be down later to help me pull some diagonals and really square this thing up before I kind of solidify everything. All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, that didn't take but a minute to really kind of get the wet leaves and stuff out the bottom of these. Really cleaned up really quickly. That was just fine. There's quite a bit of water in this one here. The one's kind of the lowest part of the hill. I could probably do some more cleaning up there. It looks sloppy in there. It's like a sloppy little mud. This one as well had quite a bit of water inside it. So I had the chairs. The chairs were all buried. They got some little mud caked on them and stuff like that. I need to get these attached to the rebar themselves. It just makes it easier kind of putting everything in and out and kind of readjusting it, because if they're not attached, then it's really, you're constantly down on your knees adjusting it and then moving the rebar again. So I just need to get them, just need to get some wire and get those attached. So yeah, here's another one. This one here was a good one as well. It's got nice, I was rather, not to pat myself in the back or to make it sound that way, but these were really a good set of holes in that, the bottoms were flat. They were a good size. They weren't oversized, and the soil wasn't too bad. I didn't have a whole lot of roots and stuff to dig through, so everything here is going just fine. So I'm going to go get some wire. I'm going to wire these chairs. You can see them kind of all sitting next to the rebar. I'm going to get those wired in there, and then we'll get the rebar back in the hole, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, guys, just after lunchtime here, I'm just getting started on starting pier number 1 here with the tube and all my supports. It looks relatively the same as what I've done with the other with the other holes, but I've got a new redesigned, you know, flat black, low to the ground, little chair system inside to where I'm able to set this tube and it's going to be level at the top and at the just about the right height. So I've already secured these supports to the tube with my air gun. I've got 3 nails in each side. Here on the other side, you might be able to see them down inside there coming through the other side. Let's see. Yeah, those silver things that are down in there. So it's held on right now. Now I still have to, you know, align with the other holes. I mean, we're pretty close here. So this is obviously going to move left and right, you know, back and forth a little bit. Once we're going to lay some strings up and we're going to snap some diagonals and get everything square again. But this is kind of how this is. So let me pull this off of here. A little tough with one hand. Let's see. Okay. That comes off pretty easy. Yeah, so this is kind of my jig. So these are in here loose, these 2 pieces, this one here and this one here. Now this is off an old shed that I had up there. Let me see, these are all carpenter ant holes. You can see one here. And then that's kind of what there's another one here. So anyway, those pull out now, and now I can pull this out without having to disturb any of the rebar or anything like that. So that just kind of sits in there. So that's my actual first chore, is to get this level. So when I set those cross braces on here, I know that those cross braces are level. And then when my tube sits on top of these cross braces, I know the tube is level, as long as I cut the tube straight. And I did a fairly good job with that. So yeah, that's my little system here I'm using. I'm just about done here with pier number 1. And yeah, we're going to fixing to move on to pier number 2. This is going to be rinse and repeat here for all these. And then once all of them are mounted basically in this position here, we're going to pull some string lines and get everything kind of squared back up. I don't anticipate much movement once we do start pulling diagonals and things like that. So but you know, you never know. All right, guys, marching on. All right, guys, we got going this afternoon. I got my afternoon helper here for me, and things went great. Let me show you where we're at. All right, guys, here's what we're looking at. We're kind of wrapping it up for the day. I don't know if standing in the shade here is any better, but you can see we pulled some string lines here. We've got stuff kind of going all over the place as far as the string goes. Yeah, there you can see both the strings. So we pulled some diagonals from the corners. Very little adjustment had to be made. I was really pretty happy with how things turned out. And really, these forms and everything are really ready to go at this point. It's I've got to do, I usually put it like a little cross member from this board to this board, you know, on the front and back, which I'm going to do. So we're going to come out tomorrow, maybe Monday, and we're going to set the laser out, and we're going to get the tops of these tubes all squared away. So everything is level, and that is just kind of where we're at right now. Everything went really well today. It was a beautiful day. The weather was great. I had my little helper out here, and that made it so much easier, especially when you're pulling tape measures and stuff, trying to get diagonal measurements and things like that. So everything's good, and yeah, well, we'll look forward to getting back out here and getting this thing kind of finalized. Hope to get we should have it done Monday, so I'm going to call Monday and probably have the inspector come out maybe Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.